Isn't a quote kind of like a date? It is like meeting with a foreign mind. If I'm not open to it, as we get to know each other, it may never reveal to me what secret it holds within. We must find each other at the right time. Otherwise, we remain strangers, like mere acquaintances who only glance at each other briefly before swiping left. The quote I want to present to you today found me at the right time. It is a wake-up call, a gentle one though. Like a mother wakes up her beloved child. It bears urgency, but without intimidating me. Hey, Chrissy, do you know there is another way to live? Really? The wise words are like a beacon in the distance. I sense their truth, but I have not yet grasped them with my whole being. But that is truly a challenge. It takes a lot of courage to wholeheartedly embrace them. But maybe they will save me from a life full of misery. The author of the quote is Matthieu Ricard. He's a Buddhist monk, and the first time I read about him was in a book about destructive emotions. Some call him the happiest man in the world. Just the right man to teach me something about happiness. By breaking down our sense of self-importance, all we lose is a parasite that has long infected our minds. What we gain in return is freedom, openness of mind, spontaneity, simplicity, altruism, all qualities inherent in happiness. Overcoming one's own meaning. That sounds terrifying. It feels empty, fleeting, and meaningless. What do I have except myself? I can't abandon myself, otherwise I would fall into the void. During every experience of my life, I am the protagonist. But Ricard's words urge me to recognize the obvious. Assigning too much significance to me makes me the center of the universe. All my motivation comes from this belief. Even this video. After all, I believe that I can contribute something to the world. Ricard calls this way of thinking a parasite. It eats away at our happiness, poisons us with discontent. It may even affect our culture. Journalist David Brooks writes that we live in an age of the so-called big me. From an early age, everyone learns to think they are special, that they have to present themselves to the world as the chosen one. How could such a person not matter and feel superior to others? Only then she is worth something. If this person does not consider herself to be especially talented, influential, and admired, what remains from her is nothing. The fear of emptiness originates from this belief. In every person, it expresses itself differently. For me, it's the fear of the mundane. I have high hopes and great aspirations for my life. How can a boring chore matter? Why should I stand in the kitchen for an hour and a half, cutting and cooking vegetables, only to do it again tomorrow, day in and day out? After all, I am destined to become a gifted psychologist. Every heart will open in front of me, and I will tell everyone how to solve their problems. Thank goodness I get to hear myself saying this out loud. Now I realize how ridiculous that sounds. What would happen if I took myself less seriously? According to Ricard, only good things. He speaks of freedom, and I can sense it. Free from my desire to achieve something, to prove something to myself all the time. Yes, I can see how facing the world humbly creates happiness. When I devote myself to the moment undivided, completely absorbed in it and my fellow human beings, without constantly reminding them who I think I am and what I am entitled to. How I would like to be less self-absorbed and instead selfless. I fear the state is hollow, but actually it seems rich in meaning. The world is not waiting for me, let's face it. But then, it's not a problem if I dedicate myself to the mundane for a few hours. Yes, deliberate dedication is the answer. Then, cooking is no longer a burden, but an activity for its own sake. A chance to explore, to be attentive to the unfolding moment. Taking myself too seriously is like putting up a barrier between me and another human. Ricard's words encourage me to tear down this wall and show compassion for the being that hides behind it. For me, to accept myself with all my flaws. Only in this vulnerability am I really open to a person, to another mind, to the happiness that reveals itself only in trusting connection.